I will now perform the air brake test. My wheels are already chocked, so I can proceed with a safe start. The safe start means that before I turn on the engine, I turn on the accessories, and I need a chance to let the gauges recalibrate. So I first turn on the accessories. All the lamps on my dashboard will appear for a few seconds, and I wait for the ABS light to come off before I turn on the engine. So that's what I'm about to do. We now see the ABS light coming off. That's it. So I can now proceed. I turned on the engine and I bring the pressure up to approximately 120 psi. We see on the air gauges there are two, one up and one down. Yep, because we have a front tank and a back tank. We just heard the noise that we just heard. That is the governor cutting a burst of air. When the pressure climbs, there's a device called a governor burst of air. So that's what we just heard. Now I can proceed with the air leak test part of the test. So what I'll do, I'll turn the engine off. I'll turn the accessories back on. I'll let the gauges recalibrate again. That's it. And then at this point, what I do, I apply the service brake with my foot, and I release the parking brake. I apply that yellow diamond over here. This is the parking brake. So I push it to release it. You push to release, you pull to apply. So I push because I want to release. Now I'm looking for an initial drop of no more than 15 psi after the gauges, the air pressure gauges, stabilized. So I have indeed a pressure of no more than 15 psi. After that, I'm looking at an additional pressure drop that will be no more than 3 psi per minute. So I look at my watch, I count an entire minute. So let's pretend that the minute went by. I would suggest that you wait when you take the air brake test on to get your CDL, I will advise wait for the monitor to give you permission to move to the next step. Otherwise, wait for that entire minute and confirm that we had an additional pressure drop of no more than 3 psi per minute. So a minute went by, I'm good to go, no more than an additional 3 psi loss for that minute. Now at this point I move to the low air pressure warning part of the air brake test. So what I will do, I will fan off the brake, the service brake with my foot, and I bring the pressure down to approximately 60 psi. When the air pressure reaches that level, we will hear a buzzer going on and we'll see a light on the dashboard that will indicate that the pressure is dangerously low. So that's what I will do right now. I'm fanning the service brake. I'm bringing the temperature down. That's it. I brought the temperature, not the temperature, but the air pressure down to 60 psi approximately. We see the light and we hear the buzzer. Now what I will do, I will move on to the spring brake part of the test. So I will keep fanning the brakes. I will bring the air pressure down to approximately 30 psi this time around. And the parking brake over here, that yellow diamond, will pop out. So it will be engaged. That's what's going to happen when I reach approximately 30 psi. So that's what I will do right now. That's what just happened. The air pressure reached approximately 30 psi, and we just heard and saw the parking brake being engaged. So this completes my air brake test. At this point, what I will do, I will start the engine again. and I will let the air pressure climb back all the way up to 120 psi. When it reaches 60 psi approximately, the buzzer will come up and the light for low air pressure warning will come up. So that's about to happen. This is it. So that's what I just did. Now that would be a good time to get out of the vehicle, unchock the wheels. Then I come back to my seat, I put my seat belt back on, and I wait for the air pressure to reach approximately 120 psi. At that point, I will test the service brake and the parking brake. So to test the service brake, what I do, I apply the service brake, I release my parking brake again, I put the transmission into drive, I let the vehicle roll gently. It should be no more than 5 miles per hour for sure. And then I apply the service brake. My vehicle stops, it doesn't hang from side to side, so my service brake works properly. As far as the parking brake, now what I do, I apply the parking brake, I leave the vehicle, the transmission into drive, and I give some gas. The vehicle's not going anywhere, the vehicle's not hanging side to side. Or another way I can go about it is to apply my service brake, release my parking brake, let the vehicle roll gently, and then apply my parking brake. And the vehicle is not going anywhere, not hanging side to side, so the parking brake works perfectly. That's it.